morning. Happy New Year. And it's not too late. Can you greet each other Merry Christmas? It's still Christmas today. Please greet each other Merry Christmas. Tomorrow is the last day of the Christmas season. Okay? So, Merry Christmas pa rin. Actually, we're at the part of the Christmas season where we call this the week of the Epiphany, o yung commonly known as Three Kings, no? Yung pagpapahayag, pagpapakilala ng Diyos, hindi lang sa mga Hudyo, kundi sa lahat ng mga bansa. So, I think that's a very momentous season for us to hold this Culture Day, especially now that we're just coming back from our long Christmas vacation. Nakain nyo na po ba lahat ng mga pinainit nyong spaghetti? Ubos na ba lahat ng mga mango graham sa ref? May macaroni pa po ba sa ref ninyo? Nagiinit pa rin ba ng mga nilutong ulam? Okay? So, I guess I'm very blessed to be invited again to your Culture Day. This is my second time. If you remember, we were together as we reflect on your value of Christhood last July 2024. And now we're going to try to reflect on this value of becoming companions with and of Jesus. Okay, napapag-usapan yung Christmas break, yung Christmas vacation, no? How many of you are still yung utak nila, yung diwa nila nasa bakasyon pa? Taas ang kamay. Walang aamin kasi nasa trabaho na dapat. Honestly, sino yung parang gusto ko pang ituloy yung kasama ko, yung pamilya ko, kasama ko yung mga kaibigan ko, taas kamay. Yan, okay. Si Sir June, gusto pa rin na nasa bakasyon. Kumusta yung Christmas vacation ninyo? Stressful, pagod, recharged? If you could just share one word to your seatmates, what one word that best describes your vacation this December? Sige nga, share it with each other. One word that expresses your time this holiday season. Okay. Sige. Meron ba ditong nagsabi ng bitin? Taas ang kamay. Bitin. Bitin. Di ba? Okay, sige. Bakit kaya pagdating sa bakasyon, bitin, pagbalik ng trabaho, ang tagal ng linggo? Di ba? Parang Lunes pa lang, pang Biyernes na yung pagod mo. Di ba? Parang ang tagal. Napansin niyo po yun? Ibang-iba ang takbo ng oras pag masaya ka, iba ang takbo ng oras kapag hindi naman natin sinasabing hindi tayo masaya pag nasa trabaho, pero iba yung takbo ng oras pag nasa trabaho. Di ba? Pansinin po ninyo, nung panahon ng pandemic, di ba? Panahon ng pandemic, parang ang tagal-tagal ng panahon. Pero pagbalik natin sa trabaho, parang ang bilis lang. Di ba? Kailan lang yung pandemic? 2020, anong taon na ngayon? 2025 na, 5 years ago. Di ba? And you would see that time flows differently. Time flows differently. Merong isang quote na ibinahagi, nababasa ko lang sa Instagram actually. I'm on Instagram right now. It says that the way we spend our days is the way we spend our lives. Can you repeat that? The way we spend our days is the way we spend our lives. So magandang pagnilayan natin ngayon, how do we spend our days? Do we just waste it? Do we just doom scroll on our phones once we get home? Do we waste our time with something that's not meaningful? Siguro magandang tingnan natin yung data. Okay? This data, I'd just like to share this with you. This data is a graph. This is a graph of how Americans spent their time. And this is the study entitled American Time Use Survey. And they surveyed Americans from 2009 to 2019, so a span of 10 years. And they measured how much time they spend with people. Okay? And if you would just bear with me, we're going to try to look at this more carefully. Ito pinagsama-sama na lang just to put things together, but we'll try to trace different lines, no? If you would notice at the topmost, we spend most of the time alone. Americans, and I think this may be in the American context, but I think this is very similar to ours. Most of us spend our time alone. Kinakausap nyo ba ang sarili nyo? Mabait ba kayo sa sarili nyo? Madalas nyong kasama ang sarili nyo, pero kung masama pa rin ang pakikitungo mo sa sarili mo, kawawa ka naman. Yan na lang yung lagi mong kasama, hindi mo papakisamahan. Di ba? Medyo nakakapaisip yun, no? Here, if you would notice in this graph, at the column, di ba? From 0 minutes to 500 minutes a day. And then at the bottom, you would see the age. At what age do we spend the time? Most of our time with, no? So it starts with 15 years old. Siguro before that, di ba? Our childhood, our adolescence, 20, 30 years old, 40 years old, until 80. Sino po dito yung 40 years old na? Walang aamin. Kung 40 years old na kayo, midlife na yan. Midlife po, hindi 50. Kasi anong feeling nyo? 100 kayo? Mamamatay? Di ba? So medyo nakakatakot na. 37 na ako. Kalahati na ng buhay ko yung naubos. No? Kung mabubuhay ako until 80, how much time did I spend with people at this point in my life? Might be good to reflect on that at this moment. No? Okay, let's just trace that. I've mentioned we spend the most time with ourselves, starting with our adolescence until the day we die. Siguro wala namang namatay na iniwan yung sarili nila. We spend the most time alone. And as we age, we become more and more alone. We spend most of the time alone. Mapapansin ninyo, no? yung graph pataas. Ay? Second, the second highest, the person whom we spend the most time with is with our partner. Pwede ko po bang malaman kung sino yung mga kasama ko ditong may partner, may asawa? Pakitaas po ng kamay. Ayan po. Masaya po ba kayo sa buhay asawa ninyo? Okay? wala pong ungkatan ng personal na buhay. Gusto ko lang pong itanong kung kamusta. Bakit? Kasi aside from your time with yourself, the second person whom you spend the most time with is your spouse. Especially as you age. Lalo-lalo na po yung mga nasa late 50s, yung malapit na po mag-retire dito. Pag empty nest na, di ba? Mga nagsipag-asawa na mga anak, kayo na lang dalawa sa bahay, tapos nag-aaway pa rin kayo. Ang tanda nyo na. Aba kayo na nga lang yung magkasama. Merong mga mag-asawa na nakakausap ko, ay yun yung pampasaya ng buhay. Pag minsan sinasabi ng misis ko, ang bait-bait natin sa isa't isa, mag-away naman tayo. Teka muna, ayoko nun. Di ba? Pero, it might be good to think about this. Di ba? Ilang taon bago mo niligawan ang misis mo? 2 years? 3 years? 4 years? Sa generation namin, mga millennial, dati naabutan namin yung love letter, tapos naabutan din namin yung mga GM, yung mga text sa 3310. Yung mga kapwa ko millennial dito. Tapos ngayon, group chat na. Di ba? We're one of the lucky generations who, di ba, experienced this. And if you will notice, the length of courtship is shortening. And yet, I think we should teach our children this, especially the adolescents. We shouldn't rush into choosing our lifetime partners. Because, as the data would say, it's very crucial. It's make or break. Why? Because the second person whom we spend our time and our life with the most are our partners. So choose well. So first, we spend our time the most with ourselves. Be kind to yourself. Second, we spend most of the time of our lives with our partners. And so it will spell whether we're going to be happy or not. Choose your partner well. Let's go to the next highest. If you would see, from 300 minutes, it will dip at around 25 to 30, and it will relatively stay the same. Who do we spend the time with? With our family. Para dun sa mga may anak, similar. We spend our time with our children, and then it will dip, and then roughly less than 100 minutes per day. Dito, yung mga may anak na may asawa na napakaswerte kung bisitahin kayo ng mga anak ninyo every weekend. Kung may lunch time pa kayo magkakasama. Kung nakakakain pa kayo na magkasama, swerte na yan. Minsan, saka na lang makauwi sa bahay once a year na lang pag Pasko. Di ba? Our time with our family is decreasing as we age. What does this remind us of? Value your time with your children. In fact, dun sa mga may anak dito, the only time that you can influence your children, according to psychologists and some experts, is during their early childhood, 0 to 5 years old. After that, they will now hear other voices of authority. They will now hear other persons. They will let other persons enter their lives. You will no longer be the center of their lives. Our families, we only see after work. Minsan tulog na mga anak mo. Tulog na yung mga magulang mo pag uwi mo sa bahay. What does this remind us of? Value your time with your family, with your children. And of course, as you would see, the two at the bottom would be our time with friends. We spend the most time with friends during our adolescent stage. Siguro mga 20, 25 years old. Yes, we have friends at work, but they're not quite the friends that we have during our childhood. Di ba? I'm not saying that you shouldn't cherish your friendships here, but our time with friends outside of work is also similar to our time with our family. And the bottom item would be our time with co-workers. Our time with co-workers. It will rise once we get to the age of 20. And then, as you would notice, it will remain at 200-minute mark per day and then will decrease at around your retirement, 60. So if you're 20 to 60, how many years would you spend on your work? 40 years. And if life expectancy is 80 years, you spend half of your life in your workplace. Yes, it may be at the bottom, but it occupies half of your life. Kaya, sunod sa asawa, ang dapat pag-isipan kung ano ang dapat makasama, katrabaho. Tingnan nyo nga ang mga katrabaho ninyo. Di ba? Di ba? Merong quote, di ba? Tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you mine. Joke lang. I'll tell you who you are. Actually, it's not that. Tell me who you are with most of the time and I'll tell you who you are because you are influenced by the people whom you are with most of the time. Agree? Agree. In fact, pag minsan yung mga babae, nagsisync na yung mens mo sa katrabaho mo kasi magkasama kayo lagi. Halos magkapalit na kayo ng mukha. Di ba? In fact, yung mga katrabaho natin, nagiging kaibigan natin, nagiging kapamilya. And we know a lot of stories where walang mapag-iwanan ng anak sa katrabaho iniwan. Di ba? And I think building this culture in Joy Nostalgia, where you have this regular culture day, builds that sense of camaraderie, of community. Diba? We wouldn't want to call this family because we know that there's a difference between our family and our work. Let's call this community. Why? Because, as you would notice, there are those who belong to this spectrum. Ito, taas ang kamay kung sino yung kasama sa spectrum na to. Taas ang kamay, yung mga nakatira sa trabaho, border sa bahay. Taas ang kamay. Nakatira sa trabaho, border sa bahay. Di ba? Mas makikita pa yung katrabaho kaysa sa anak at asawa. Di ba? Di ba? You spend most of the time of the day in your work. Pero meron namang, kung pwede lang, huwag nang pumasok. Di ba? Yung other end of the spectrum. Di ba? Mapapansin ninyo that at the middle is a healthy average. What is that healthy average? Which we all aspire to become. Yung pagtrato sa, yes, trabaho ko ito, pero trabaho lang ito. Hindi ka dito nakatira, pero hindi naman ganun ka-indifferent na wala kang pake. Diba? Yan yung hinahangad natin na balance. Ang tawag dyan sa corporate jargon yung work-life balance. Diba? Ngayon, mapapansin ninyo that at work, just like in our personal lives, the people whom we work with can spell our happiness or our unhappiness. What or who makes our time at work worthwhile or otherwise? Marami pong survey ang nagsasabi na kaya tumagal sa trabaho. Look at your retirees or would-be retirees. Ask them, what made you stay this long in this company? Most of them would say, it was my workmates, my companions. And at this point, friends, I'd like you to remember your companions, your colleagues, your workmates. Right now. Remember one memory with them. Tell me who you are with most of the time, and I'll tell you who you are. How we spend our days and who do we spend it with is how we spend our lives. And probably it leads us to a reflection on being companion. Sa Tagalog, ang pagiging companion, maraming version. Pwedeng kasama, pwedeng kaibigan, pero yung isa siguro na malalim na Tagalog, pagdating sa companion, kaagapay. Kaagapay. Yung salitang companion daw po sa Ingles, galing siya sa salitang Latin na with, di ba? Communion, komunidad, di ba? Kasama, unidad, pagkakaisa, di ba? Community. Companion is coming from the Latin word cum and panis, hindi siya panis. Iba po yun. Kapag hindi talaga pleasant yung coworker mo, cum panis talaga yon. Okay? Pero it's coming from the Latin terms cum panis. Pakiulit. Cum panis. Which literally means with and bread. Pansinin niyo, pan panis, pan de sal, pan de agua, pan de regla. Kung anumang pan yan, tinapay. Bakit yung companion may kinalaman sa tinapay? Bakit? Because quite literally, your companion is someone whom you break bread with. Bakit binibreak yung bread? Noong unang panahon po, yung tinapay, hindi pa kasing lambot ng tinapay na meron tayo ngayon. Quite literally, you have to break the bread. You have to piece it together. Tear it apart. And the bread, you share with another. Companion. Sa Tagalog, ito yung mga kasamang gusto mong makasamang kumain. Pag galit ka sa isang tao, gusto mo pong makasama yan sa pagkain mo? Di ba lahat ng pagkain, pagkaharap mo yung kagalit mo, pumapait. Di ba? Kapag kumakain ka mag-isa, lalong-lalo na kapag meron kang pinagdaraanan, lahat ng lasa ng pagkain mo, di ba? Matabang. Pero mas sumasarap ang pagkain kapag may kasama. Siguro magandang ihingi natin ng budget yung mga pantry natin sa opisina, Bakit? Kasi kapag kumakain ng mas maayos ang empleyado, mas nagiging produktibo. Di ba? Because we are with our companions. Our companions are those whom we break bread with. Quite literally. But a deeper sense of companion is this. A companion is someone who you share your life with. Bakit? Dahil ang pagkain na bumubusog sa'yo ay siyang pagkain din na bumubusog sa kanya, kulang na lang na ang inyong bituka ay magkarugtong. Di po ba? Parang ganun yung gusto nating ipahatid when we want to eat with somebody. Yung mga umiinom dito, mga nagiinom dito, sa amin po sa Batangas, mga nagbabarik. Di ba? Hindi mo kakilala, nakainuman mo, kinabukasan, kaibigan mo na. Di ba? Pansinin nyo, paano ka nanliligaw? Nagde-date kayo, kumakain. If you want to establish relationship, you eat together. Pansinin nyo, sa lahat ng okasyon, binyag, kasal, kahit burol, may pagkain. Because food connects us. You break bread with somebody whom you want to share your life with. And I think this value of being companions of Jesus says a lot about your company. We want to share our lives with Jesus. And so, let's go to a biblical reflection. Nabanggit ni Sir Romel na biblical theologian ako. Let's go through a few biblical texts. What does it mean? Or how does Jesus look like as a companion? As a companion. Paano maging kasama, kaagapay, kaibigan si Jesus? And if you would look at the biblical text, it's in English, we'll just go to try and dive a bit. The first biblical text that I'd like us to read is from the Gospel according to Mark. This scene is the scene of Jesus calling his first disciples. Who were the first disciples? The fisher folk. Peter, Andrew, James, and John. Let's read. As Jesus passed along the Sea of Galilee, he saw Simon and his brother Andrew casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers. And Jesus said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of people." And immediately they left their nets and followed him. As he went a little farther, he saw James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John, who were in their boat mending their nets. Immediately he called them, and they left their father Zebedee in the boat with the hired men and followed him. Okay. Eksena. Si Jesus naglalakad umaga na sa dalampasigan ng dagat ng Galilea. Naglalakad. Ay, psst, kayong dalawa, sunod kayo. Tapos, hindi pa mo nakakalayo, nakita yung dalawang magkapatid, si Juan at saka si Santiago, sabi niya, ay, psst, sama kayo. Biblical scholars say that the Gospel of Mark has these characteristics. The word "and", lagi niyo makikita yung salitang "and", at saka, nakarinig na kayo nagkakwento ng gano'n, yung mga anak natin, di ba? Alam mo, mami, at saka, ganun daw magkwento si Mark. At saka yung second characteristic ni Mark, laging parang nagmamadali. And immediately. How many immediately did you see in the text? Jesus said to them, "Follow me," and immediately they left their nets and followed him. And immediately he called them, and they left their father Zebedee in the boat and followed him. Hindi ba kayo nagtataka? Merong isang random na tao, tinawag ka lang, "Ay, sunod ka sa akin." Susunod ka? Baliw lang ang gumagawa nun. Di ba? It's weird for two fishermen to just leave their boats, their jobs, just to follow this random guy. They don't even know Jesus. Or, was there a backstory? What could have enabled them to immediately leave everything to follow Jesus? What do you think? Mayaman si Jesus? Not quite. Pogi? Di natin alam. You would immediately leave something valuable, such as your job, if you know that someone who calls you is someone whom you deeply know. Di ba? Pag tinawag ka, iwan lahat, sunod. Sino yung mga may ganitong kaibigan? Kung meron kayong ganitong kaibigan, Yung pag tinawag mo, iiwanan lahat para puntahan ka. Napakaswerte niya. Look at the gospel. The gospel says that the companions of Jesus immediately left everything and followed him. Probably because they know him well. Second story. From the beginning of Mark, let's go to the last chapter of Luke. The last chapter of Luke is about the resurrection stories. Pinako na si Jesus, muling nabuhay, nagpapakita na ulit sa mga alagad. Pinapakita yung sugat niya sa kamay at saka sa tagiliran niya. Eto, nagpakita siya sa 2 disipulo niya, pauwi sa Emmaus. Yung Emmaus, medyo malayo yan sa Jerusalem. Diba? Maraming mga tagasunod si Jesus. Tapos nung nakita nilang pinatay si Jesus ng mga Romano at ng mga matatanda ng bayan nila, lahat sila parang, ay, itong taong to, akala namin mahusay na tao, propeta, ililigtas ang bayang Israel mula sa kamay ng Imperyo Romano, pero wala, namatay din. Kaya lahat sila, parang lahat ng pag-asa nila bumagsak. Kaya itong 2 ito, pabalik na ulit, pauwi na ulit sa kanilang bayan sa Emmaus. And yet, etong si Jesus, nung naglalakad sila, sinabayan siya. Sinabayan niya sila. At itong eksenang ito, magdidilim na, at si Jesus parang nag-aambang magpapatuloy pa. Let's read the text. But they urged him strongly, saying, "Stay with us, because it is almost evening and the day is almost over." So he went in and stayed with them. When he was at table, he took bread, blessed and broke it and gave it to them. Sounds like misa. Kinuha niyang tinapay, nagpasalamat siya, pinagpira-piraso niya ito at binigay niya sa kanyang mga alagad. Di ba? Then, their eyes were opened and they recognized him and he vanished from their sight. They said to each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he was with us on the road and while he was opening the scriptures to us?" That same hour, parang nagmamadali, parang si Mark. That same hour, they returned to Jerusalem. They found the 11 and their companions gathered together. They were saying, "The Lord has risen indeed and has appeared to Simon." Then they told what had happened on the road, how he had been made known to them in the breaking of the bread. Nakilala nila siya sa paghahati ng tinapay. Meron ba kayong mga kaibigan na namimiss ninyo pag kumakain kayo pero wala sila? Di ba? Namimiss nyo kasi pinupulutan nyo sila, no? Sila yung nagiging topic ng pagmamarites natin. Pero hindi ba? We recognize our friends when we eat. Ay, paborito niya to eh. Di ba? Sayang wala siya dito. Sayang. Di ba? Nakikilala natin siya. And probably this reveals a lot about Jesus. Jesus doesn't only know his companions, he also allows himself to be known. Di ba? Hindi lang siya basta kinikilala ang kanyang mga kaibigan, hinahayaan niya din ang sarili niyang makilala siya. Nagiging vulnerable. Di ba? Sa mga kaibigan natin, sa mga katrabaho natin, nagbubukas tayo ng ating sarili kahit yung mga pangit na bahagi natin. Di ba? When we break bread with them, Jesus is the same. He allows himself to be known. So 2 characteristics so far. We proceed with the third. The third is about a resurrection story again. And this is when Jesus appeared to Simon and other disciples at the Lake Galilee when they were fishing. Ito yung huling habilin ni Jesus bago siya umakyat sa langit. When they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than this?" He said, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my lambs." A second time, Jesus said to him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? He said to him, Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Jesus said to him, Tend my sheep. He said to him the third time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? And look at this detail. Peter felt hurt because he said to him the third time, Do you love me? Why? Because Peter denied him 3 times. And yet Jesus, after Peter denied him 3 times, renews his love with this friend and asked, Peter, mahal mo ba talaga ako? Mahal mo ba talaga ako? Hindi naman siguro ganyan tayo sa mga katrabaho natin. Parang kukomprontahin mo, nagtitimpla ng kape. Mare, mahal mo ba ako? Diba? Kasunod niyan, parang pautang naman. Diba? Pero, yung punto ay, ito. May isang scholar na nakapansin nito. If we would read this text in Greek, in its original language when it was written, it goes like this. Peter, agapeisme. May 3 level daw ng pag-ibig sa Greek mentality, sa Greek concept. Una, agape. Pangalawa, philia, philo. Pangatlo, eros. Yung agape daw, yung malalim na klase ng pag-ibig, yung pag-ibig na kayang magtaya ng sarili para sa isang kaibigan. Yung pangalawa, it's a kind of friendly love, friendship, philo. Kaya may philosophy, friend of wisdom. Yung pinakamababaw daw, yung eros, erotic love, yung romantic love. Di ba? Yung love na may libog. Yan. Yung tanong ni Jesus, Peter, agapasme, do you love me with a kind of deep love? Then Peter says, phileiste, I love you. Second time, Jesus asked, Peter, agapasme, kaya mo ba akong mahalin? Mahal mo ba ako ng isang malalim na pag-ibig? Sabi ni Peter, Lord, you know that I phileiste. Philo. Third, Jesus asked, Peter, phileisme. So from the level of agape, nung sinasagot siya ni Peter na, Lord, hanggang philo lang ang kaya ko. Hindi ko pa kaya yung agape. Kaya patatlong tanong ni Jesus, ang tanong niya, o sige, adjust natin. Peter, kaibigan mo ba ako? Mahal mo ba ako bilang isang kaibigan? Tapos sabi ni Peter, Lord, mahal kita. Isang klase ng companionship na, oo, hinihingi sa iyo ang isang malalim na klase ng pag-ibig, pero tinatagpo ka kung saan ka naroon. Hindi mo pa kaya, Pedro, na mahalin ako ng ganun kalalim, okay lang. Tatagpuin kita kung nasaan ka naroon. I will love you as you can love me. And yet, hindi doon nagtatapos. Because a few chapters earlier, and this is, I think, the central biblical text that we should focus ourselves on, is this. This is my commandment. Ito, naghahabilin na si Jesus. Last Supper na to. Naghahabilin si Jesus sa mga kaibigan niya bago siya ipako sa krus. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. Agape, philo, sabi niya, pwedeng pagsamahin yun eh. Pwede mong ialay ang buhay mo para sa iyong mga companions. And look, Jesus says, you are my friends if you do what I command you. What do I command you? Love one another. And look at how Jesus treats his friends. He tells him, I do not call you servants any longer, because the servant does not know what the Master is doing. But, eto, galing sa salita ni Jesus, galing sa bibig ni Jesus, I call you friends. I have called you friends. Because I have made known to you everything that I have heard from my Father. And I appointed you to go and bear fruit that will last, so that whatever the Father will give you, whatever you ask of Him in my name, I'm giving you this commandment so that you may love one another. So parang sinasabi ni Jesus, alam mo yung pag-ibig na yan, hindi lang para sa akin. Dapat umaapaw din yan sa pag-ibig nyo sa isa't isa. As a summary, what kind of companionship or friendship does Jesus offer? First, katulad nung sa Gospel of Mark, it's a kind of companionship where this one deeply knows you. This person, this Jesus deeply knows you. And that He also allows Himself to be deeply known by you. Pangatlo, it is a kind of companionship that allows you to be yourself. Agape, philo, hanggang dyan lang ang kaya mo, sige, tagpuin kita dyan. But invites you to go further, to grow. Pero hangad ko, Pedro, na sana lumalim pa pag-ibig mo sa akin. And then finally, it's a kind of companionship that loves you deeply and inspires you to bear fruit. Alam niyo po, kahapon lang pinagdiwang natin kung sino man yung nakasama sa traslasyon o yung mga deboto ng Senyor Nazareno. I think this powerful image, maraming mga kritiko, maraming nagsasabi na, idolatry yan, sumasamba sa kahoy. Pero para sa mga tunay na deboto, hindi naman siya kahoy. Hindi naman yun yung sinasamba. Imahin siya. Larawan siya. O pansinin niyo, yung mga may picture sa cellphone ninyo ng mga mahal nyo sa buhay. Yan ba talaga yung mahal nyo? O representative lang yan, representation lang yan nung talagang taong minamahal nyo? Di ba? Ganon din ang Nazareno, ganon din yung mga imahen. At yung Nazareno ay isang napakagandang imahen ng Jesus na ito. Bagaman bitbit ang krus, pasan-pasan ang mabigat na krus, papunta sa kanyang kamatayan, sinasamahan niya tayo sa ating pagdurusa. Kaya kung mapapansin ninyo, yung mga deboto ng mahal na pong Nazareno, no comparison, pero kapag deboto ni Padre Pio, di ba, madalas mga nakakotse, mayayaman, di ba, may mga ganon. May mga deboto si Padre Pio, pero pagdating sa Poong Jesus Nazareno, karamihan sa makikita ninyo, yung mga ordinaryong tao, yung mga pobre, yung mga may sakit, yung mga mahihirap, di ba? Lalaki, babae, may mga matataas sa buhay, di ba? Bakit? Kasi nakikita nila kay Kristo ang isang companion na sinasamahan sila sa kanilang pagdurusa sa buhay na ito. Isang pagmamahal na kayang magbigay. Anong inspirasyon nito? Ang inspirasyon nito talaga, medyo weird. Sabi ko, companions of Jesus, hindi ba mga Heswita to? Because the Society of Jesus, SJ, katulad ng priest presider natin, si Father Eli, ang tawag sa kanila nung sila ay binuo ni San Ignacio de Loyola ay Compañía de Jesus. Di ba? Hindi sila tinatawag katulad ng mga Dominicans, ang tawag ng mga sa Order of Preachers Dominicans because their founder is Saint Dominic. Or Franciscans, kasi their founder is Saint Francis. Bakit yung mga Heswita hindi tinatawag na Ignatians? Sabi nga ng ibang mga tao, napakayabang naman ng mga to. Mga kasama ni Jesus. Because they have seen that their order is about being friends with the Lord. Ang tawag nga nila sa kanilang mga sarili ay amigos el Señor. Friends with the Lord. Because Ignatius, Francis Xavier, and the first companions, Peter Faber, wanted to grow in friendship with the Lord, to see Him more clearly, to love Him more dearly. to follow Him more nearly. Kung mapapansin nyo, mas makita kita ng mas malinaw, mas mahalin kita ng mas marubdob, para masundan kita ng mas malapit pa. And as a result, they will grow too in friendship with each other. And so, reflecting on this value of being companions of Jesus, I think we can find in Jesus a good companion. We can find in Jesus someone who will accompany us in our lives. Very much like the companions that we have beside us today. And so, as we close this reflection, we pray. We breathe in and breathe out, knowing that this Lord, who is companion and friend, is with us. And now together we pray, thank you, my Lord Jesus Christ, for all the benefits you have given me, for all the pains and insults you have borne for me. O most merciful Redeemer, my friend and brother, may I know you more clearly, love you more dearly, and follow you more nearly, day by day. Amen.
Thank you, Doc Lance, for that very insightful and meaningful talk about companions of Jesus.